Sup besties, the long-awaited JJK new heat has finally dropped. The Culling Game arc is officially live, fam. This is hands down the most hyped season of all time. We're talking peak JJK fiction here, no cap. Before we dive into the lore, make sure to smash that subscribe button and like the video like your life depends on it. The story kicks off with a vibe so depressing it's actually criminal. In some random location, our unfortunate king Yuji Itadori is standing all by himself, busy washing strawberry syrup, blood, off his hands with a 1,000-yard stare like he just lost his last brain cell. Suddenly, the camera cuts to a crusty, abandoned building. Yuji is out here playing human radar, ears twitching for any movement. Out of nowhere, a curse with a Karen-level attitude lunges out for a spicy hug. Yuji says not today, pulls off a pro-gamer move, and yeets himself out the window to escape. But wait, it's a out of the frying pan, into the fire situation. Outside isn't a clear road, it's a whole-ass cursed spirit convention waiting for his autograph. Yuji's out here looking for someone urgently, drifting through the crowd like a GTA protagonist, and even has the audacity to snatch a chocolate bar from a roadside shop and start munching mid-fight. Absolute legend behavior. Even surrounded by monsters, my boy is out here hitting emotes and dodging skills with that unspoken riz, proving his survival stats reach level 99 after the Shibuya trauma. Suddenly, a buff, gym rat-looking curse charges in, grabs Yuji like a stray kitten, and yeets him through the gap of some skyscrapers. A normal NPC would have logged out of life long ago, but Sukuna's personal HP tank barely felt a tickle. Before the monster could even flex, it dropped dead out of nowhere. At that exact moment, Yuji gets third-partied. A sharp blade comes flying in to shish kebab him. Even though Yuji blocks it, the cold steel is right in his face. The guy holding the sword with those dead inside eyes is none other than the king of pure love, Yuta Okkotsu. The two of them are just glaring at each other in a dark basement. The tension is so high you could cut it with a knife. Brother versus brother violence is about to go down. Leaving Yuji's drama aside, let's visit the Zenin Daycare Center, where a high-stakes inheritance drama is peaking. This one guy walks in with a main character ego, asking about the head of the clan's health, but it sounds more like he's praying for his downfall. Is the old hag dead yet? When the servant says the leader is on his deathbed, he drops a line dripping with toxic masculinity. Pretty women who are useless should just be discarded. If they can't walk 3 steps behind a man, they might as well get stabbed. Allow me to introduce Naoya Zenin, a special grade 1 sorcerer, a certified F-boy whose audacity is actually astronomical. When he finally shows his face to the family, everyone's like, "Why are you late? Your dad is literally dying." Naoya pulls a don't care, didn't ask and says, "Whether I'm here or not, he's not coming back to life, so what's the big deal?" Truly a role model for online filial piety. To keep the toxic vibes going, Naoya continues his hater speech. He's 100% sure the head of the clan seat is his because his brothers have room temperature IQ and the girls are just NPCs to him. He even roasts his uncle Oji's face right there. If you had Toji's face card, maybe you wouldn't look so disgusting. After that burn of the century, Uncle Oji is triggered and points his sword right at his disrespectful nephew's face. Uncle Junichi is also looking like he's about to crash out. The room smells like pure smoke. Right when the drama hits its peak, a man walks in with the breaking news: clan head Naobito has officially disconnected from the server. The will is read, Naoya is the 27th head, inheriting the fortune and the cursed tool warehouse. Naoya is out here grinning like he just won the lottery until he hears the fine print. He needs permission from uncles Oji and Junichi to use the warehouse. Naoya's face instantly hits that stunned in 4K look. But wait, there's a plot twist that literally shook the earth. If Gojo Satoru was erased or incapacitated, Megumi Fushiguro becomes the clan head and takes all the loot. Hearing this, Naoya absolutely loses it. He's crashing out, screaming that he needs to find Megumi to terminate his subscription. A girl leaks that Megumi is in Tokyo looking for Yuji. Knowing Yuji is Sukuna's vessel, Naoya makes a business decision: fine, I'll kill Yuji. And if Megumi is with him, I'll send them both to the lobby. He calculates that Tokyo is a mess anyway, people are dying left and right, so killing Megumi and blaming the circumstances is the perfect crime. The girl bows down to tie his laces, preparing for a certified hater hunt. Camera cuts to a dark staircase where Yuji is sitting in his feelings, rewatching his trauma via flashbacks. The best big bro Choso comes over to check his vitals. Yuji says he's fine, guessing Sukuna's presence is basically a healing hack, but he can feel Sukuna's power scaling like crazy. Choso tells him to go back to Jujutsu High, but Yuji's like nah. Yuji suspects Sukuna is plotting something with Megumi and is drowning in guilt-tripping himself for the Shibuya body count. He remembers the curse about saving people only for them to kill others, making him feel like a total clown. He even brings up how he accidentally ended Choso's brothers. But Choso shuts down the angst immediately, saying it was just an accident and, as the big bro, he gave Yuji the pass a long time ago. They decide to go hunt curses to kill the boredom, true ride or die energy. A bit later, Yuji is getting chased by a mob of cursed spirits again. But this time, his combat skills are outstatting everyone. Mappa really put the whole budget into this animation, it's pure eye candy. Yuji isn't a noob anymore, his hands are rated E for everyone. He baits the monsters into a tunnel, and just as they think they caught him, Choso spawns in and uses blood manipulation to delete the whole mob in a second. The two of them are clearing monsters like they're speedrunning a dungeon. Choso is low-key stat-checking his brother and is shook by how much Yuji has leveled up, insane stamina and smooth CE control. October 10th, no notes. Right in the middle of this wholesome bro moment, Choso accidentally leaks that Yuji's dad also had stitches on his forehead. Suddenly, the professional hater Naoya appears with a mid-tier attitude. Wow, I got here before Megumi? That boy is moving like a turtle. While Choso and Yuji are lagging, Naoya starts yapping about Yuji's death sentence. He announces that Gojo is no longer their protection charm and his main target is Megumi. He threatens to break Yuji's legs if he runs. When Yuji asks why he's hunting Megumi, Naoya basically says he wants Megumi to log out so he can snatch the inheritance. Then, Naoya blitzes Yuji from behind. Choso tries to peel for him, but Naoya is moving at Mach 10, bypassing Choso instantly. Yuji realizes this guy's speed is actually god tier. Naoya smirks, low-key glazing himself for underestimating Sukuna's vessel. Suddenly, everyone gets the chills because of a massive aura approaching. Yuji thinks, is Gojo-sensei back? No, this feels way more sinister. Turns out it's not Gojo, it's Yuta Okkotsu. Yuta pulls up with that main character energy, saying you're not alone, and asks which one is Yuji. Naoya immediately tries to team up, I'm on your side, bruv. You're Yuta, right? Yuji finally remembers Megumi's warning about the special grade monster, Yuta. Naoya introduces himself as Maki's cousin and asks to party up with Yuta to kill steal the target. Choso senses the boss fight energy and screams at Yuji to run because Yuta is Gojo level, and Naoya's speed is broken. Choso decides to be the ultimate big bro, taking the 1v2 so his brother can escape. The battle splits into two lobbies, Choso soloing Naoya, and Yuji getting hunted by Yuta. On Choso's side, Naoya is using his speed hacks to kite him, roasting Choso's blood manipulation for being slow and mid. He even mocks Choso for cosplaying as a big brother. Choso claps back hard, nah, you're the one getting cooked. You touched my brother? Class is in session, kid. On the other side, Yuji is struggling to survive Yuta's boss phase. Yuta looks at Yuji and compares his tankiness to Maki. Yuji is stunned by the massive cursed energy shroud around Yuta, giving him insane attack and defense buffs. Yuta even flexes that he has more mana than Gojo-sensei, he just doesn't have the 6 eyes cheat code to manage it. Without missing a beat, Yuta starts swinging. Yuji tries to remember best friend Tadu's lessons to read the opponent's CE flow, but the problem is Yuta's CE is literally a tsunami, he can't predict anything. Every move Yuta makes is a skill issue for Yuji. In this clutch or kick moment, Yuji thinks of Nanami and tells himself he absolutely cannot RIP. He starts kiting, dumping all his CE into his weapon to block. Even though Yuta roasts him for overextending his energy, Yuji successfully snaps Yuta's sword. A golden opportunity appears. Yuji thinks he's got a chance since they're both unarmed, and throwing hands is his specialty. But life isn't a fairy tale. Just as he's about to counter, the universal waifu Rika spawns behind him and grabs him like a toy. What do you think you're doing to my husband? Yuji is stunned in 4K, completely confused, where did this stand come from? Yuta walks up, drops a sorry about this, with zero vibes, and stab. A cold blade straight through the heart, sending Yuji back to the lobby. Game over. Back to the crime scene, Yuji just got turned into a human kebab by Yuta. Instantly, his soul gets dragged into that familiar inner basement to meet his grumpy-ass uncle Sukuna. Meanwhile, outside, the fight between Choso and the certified trap boy Naoya Zenin is basically a one-way street and Naoya is the one doing the steamrolling. Naoya is moving at Mach Jesus speed, so fast that Choso can barely track him with his eyes, let alone throw hands. Choso tries to read Naoya's hand movements for a counterplay, but it's a total skill issue. Since he can't keep up with that insane tempo, Choso can't even pull out his signature moves like convergence or external flowing red scale. Naoya is throwing hands and shade at the same time, why are you being so stubborn, bruh? Just give up, Choso hits back with a line that radiates pure big brother energy, because I'm the eldest. I've got 9 younger siblings, you know? Talk about the power of family. Choso decides to lock in, activating flowing red scale, stack, but Naoya stays pressed and arrogant, I don't give a damn about your family tree. I'm asking how you're such a tank. Choso pours all his cursed energy into his eyes to buff his dynamic vision, staring soul deep into Naoya's movements. The moment Naoya lunges, Choso finally catches a glimpse of the play. He thinks he's about to cook, but Naoya is still one step ahead. He pulls out a concealed dagger and coldly shanks Choso in the gut. Naoya smirked, feeling himself, oh, trying to use red scale to read me? I knew you were a tanky boy, so I had to bring the strap. He continues rubbing salt in the wound of the nation's big bro, your skill is blood manipulation. Now that you're leaking everywhere, what are you gonna do? Let's see how long you last with that faucet running. Not done yet. Nadia starts trash-talking his own Zenin clan, having good genes and not knowing how to use them as a waste. My older brothers are all straight-up frauds. Choso listens and drops a factual truth bomb. Oh, so you just hate your own brothers, huh? Nadia admits it without skipping a beat. Yeah, I do. If an older brother is weaker than the youngest, he's just wasting oxygen. They should just log out of life already. Hearing this, Choso starts a life ethics TED talk. You should be thanking your brothers. They were the guinea pigs, suffering and paving the road so you could walk it today. If the brother walks the right path, the younger follows. If he fails, the younger learns to avoid it. That's the bro code. Choso clinches it. You think being the eldest is a vibe? I've made plenty of L moves, but I still walk ahead of my brothers with my head held high. That's why I'm built different, kid. While talking, Choso is bleeding out like a broken fire hydrant, flooding the floor. Nadia is losing it. Bro, how are you not dead yet? Is this guy literally hacking? Plot twist, Choso is a death painting, a human curse hybrid who can convert cursed energy into blood. Basically, as long as he has mana, he is blood. No low battery here. Nadia is hopping around trying to dodge, but suddenly his legs feel like they're wearing 100 pounds weights. Turns out Choso used his blood to stick to Nadia's clothes, hit him with a slow debuff. Choso raises his hand for the finisher. Nadia sneers, my projection sorcery is faster than the flash. Even if you slow me down, I'm still gapping you, but life isn't a K-drama. Choso isn't doing a basic attack. He drops the ultimate move he spent 150 years cooking, Supernova. Blood explodes in every direction, 0 dead zones. Nadia couldn't process the lag and got folded instantly. Choso walks up to his cousin-in-law lying on the ground and says in a disappointed dad voice, I can't believe there's someone who doesn't love their siblings like you. Just as Choso was about to finish Nadia, the pure love devil Yuta Okkotsu spawns behind him, dragging Yuji's corpse like a sack of potatoes. Yuta casually slaps Choso into a nap. One hit, floor POV. That's special grade diff for you. Yuta looks at the dying Nadia and roasts him lightly. You look pretty pathetic, man. Nadia is salty but helpless. He's in shock because Choso's hybrid blood is straight up poison to his system. Yuta makes a deal. I have reverse cursed technique, I can heal you. In exchange, tell the higher-ups that Yuji Itadori is officially deceased. Nadia, wanting to keep his subscription to life, agrees immediately. The camera cuts to Yuji's body. In a coma, he dreams of the past. He sees his dad, Jean, and his grandpa. Grandpa is telling Jean, dump that woman, she's dead. There's something sus and demonic about Kaori. Jean replies, Dad, don't talk crazy in front of the kid, he's got a core memory. Then we see a close-up of the mom's face with stitches across her forehead, the calling card of the brainhopper, Kenjaku. Yuji wakes up by a bonfire with Yuta babysitting him. Yuta smiles, thank God, you're awake. And the truth comes out, Yuta never wanted to kill Yuji. It was all a massive prank/setup to fool the higher-ups. Gojo already saw this coming and secretly asked Yuta to watch over Yuji if anything happened to him. Yuta explains, I had to make a binding vow to kill you so they'd believe it. So I actually killed you, but at that exact millisecond, I used reverse cursed tech to revive you. A legendary loophole. In a flashback, Gojo even mentions Yuta looks less depressed lately. Back to the present, Yuta drops the conclusion, this was the only way to get the bounty off your head. On paper, you're dead, so no one's hunting you. Yuta smirks, those old fossils at the top fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Yuji is confused, wait, then why didn't I log out for real? Yuta explains his healing output again. He even teases, this is like the second time you've faked your death, right? Yuji asks, why go through all this trouble for me? Yuta gets deep, because I see myself in you. I also carried a power that made people hate me. So stop blaming yourself, Yuji mutters, how can I not? I'm basically a walking disaster. Mid-convo, Megumi Fushiguro pulls up. First thing he says, get back to Jujutsu High. The barriers are failing. Yuji refuses, I'm not going back. I killed way too many people in Shibuya. Megumi cuts him off, it's not just on you, it's on all of us. Yuji is still being stubborn, so Megumi hits him with a reality check, we're sorcerers, not avengers. Our job is to save people. I need you. Save me, Yuji. Megumi reveals Kenjaku started a battle royale called the Culling Game. Everyone with a technique is forced to play. And Tsumiki, Megumi's sister, is caught in the mix. Megumi locks in, I need you to help me save Tsumiki. Yuji agrees. But first, he warns Yuta, Uncle Sukuna is eyeing Megumi. If he takes over again, don't hesitate. Kill me immediately, Yuta nods, bet. I'll do my best. Yuji turns to Megumi, alright, what's the move, bestie? Megumi finalizes the plan, we gotta rush back to school to see Master Tengen. The goal is to find out how to unlock the prison realm to save Sensei Gojo and figure out Kenjaku's actual endgame with this Culling Game mess. Tengen, the human Wikipedia of the Jujutsu world, definitely has the answers. Yuji reveals he's been in touch with Mami Yuki Tsukumo. She's hiding at the school because she's too lazy to deal with the higher-ups. Yuta adds some unlimited baggage. Tengen's place is protected by a barrier with 1,000 doors that constantly swap places. Only one leads to him. If you don't know the way, you'll be searching until GTA 6 comes out. After the business talk, Yuji hesitantly asks Megumi, "So, how's Nobara?" Megumi goes silent and looks at the floor. Yuji gets the vibe immediately and is devastated. Just as the mood hits rock bottom, big bro Choso jumps in, "I got this." He explains that the death paintings have a special link. Since his brothers are in the school storage, Choso can use family Wi-Fi to track their location and find the right door. Scene change, Yuji reaches the meetup point and sees Maki, with Yuki behind her. Maki now has that well-done/charred aesthetic. Yuki healed her, but those cursed fire scars are permanent. Yuki roasts her, "You're this strong and still didn't get the Zenin clan leader seat?" Maki is unbothered, "Didn't want it anyway." Maki asks about Tengen's barrier. Choso volunteers to be the GPS. Yuki's impressed, he's actually useful. The vibe is a bit awkward because everyone is looking at Choso like, who is this random guy? Yuji introduces him, "This is my big bro." Choso is over the moon. "Yuji, my brother." The squad follows Choso to a door. He claims his brothers are behind it. They open it, and instead of a warehouse, it's a whole forest. They take an elevator deep underground. Choso stops by the jars with his fetal brothers, whispering, "Wait just a bit longer, I'll come back for you." The elevator leads to a tunnel that opens into the main hall. The vibes are chillingly familiar. This is the place where 12 years ago, Toji deleted Riko Amanai right in front of Geto. The bloodstains are still on the wall, the birthplace of all the trauma. Even Maki gets the creeps, the hall is empty. Yuki explains, Tengen is a living saint, he doesn't touch grass, interact with reality, much. Plus, since no one here has 6 eyes like Gojo, he probably doesn't want visitors. Just as they're about to leave, a voice rings out. Tengen appears in a bizarre form. "Pleasure to meet you, Pookies." The Grandmaster starts the roll call, naming everyone and their lore: Maki of the Zenin, Choso the Death Painting, and Yuji, the Vessel of Sukuna. That's the end of episode 2. Make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit the bell to catch the latest episodes of this season. Bye bye. Yuji's squad successfully broke into Tengen's crib. And damn, Tengen is basically a walking Google, knowing everyone's government name, hometown, and even their entire family tree. He's out here doxing the Zenin clan, the Death Painting Womb Bros, and even Sukuna's vessel. Everyone was shook because Tengen looks like a straight-up alien. Tengen then casually checks in on Yuki like they're old besties. Yuki, being the baddie who fears no one, asks straight up why he unsealed the tomb. Tengen's like, "My bad, I thought y'all were with Kenjaku since I can't read NPC thoughts." The squad was confused, like, Kenjaku who? Tengen finally drops the lore. Kenjaku is the brain-hopping parasite currently possessing Geto Sugiuru's body. Only now does the team learn the final boss's real name. Yuji, being a total noob, asks the most out-of-pocket question: "Why do you look so weird?" Megumi is literally facepalming because his friend's timing is trash. Tengen explains that being immortal doesn't mean you don't age. After 500 years, the glow-up turns into a glow-down, and he evolved into this thumb-looking thing. Tengen brings up the massive L from 12 years ago when he failed to merge with the Star Plasma Vessel. Yep, the time Toji soloed Gojo and Geto's team to send Riko Amanai to the afterlife. Because of that, Tengen is fading away and asked if humanity is just out of people to merge with him. Megumi and Yuta cut the small talk. They're here for Kenjaku's plan and how to open the prison realm to save Gojo-sensei. Yuji turns around only to see the exit has ghosted them. Tengen says he'll spill the tea, but there's a catch. Out of the 3 heavy hitters, Yuta, Yuki, and Choso, 2 have to stay back as his bodyguards. Yuta's confused why an immortal needs a security detail. Maki keeps it 100, saying he's just scared of getting sealed like a coward. Yuki asks why and for how long. The tea is, Kenjaku wants to force evolve everyone in Japan. Megumi asks what that even means and why he's using Tengen's barriers and idol transfiguration. Tengen explains some big brain stuff. Cursed energy is usually refined via maximum Uzumaki, but upgrading individuals one by one is low efficiency. Kenjaku's work smarter, not harder plan is to merge all of humanity with Tengen. Back in the day, only star plasma vessels could merge with Tengen. But since Tengen evolved past being human, the old rules are dead. Now he's built different. Choso asks how Kenjaku plans to merge everyone at once. Tengen flexes, saying, "You think this guy in front of you is the real me? Nah. His soul is now everywhere, he is the world is him." He shows off his multiple alt accounts. Tengen warns that whoever merges with him will transcend being a sorcerer. But since Tengen is the CEO of Barrier Techniques, he has to keep this form. If humanity merges with him and even one person loses their cool, it's game over for the world. No more boundaries between individuals means the cringe of millions will spread globally, turning the world into a living hell like current Tokyo. Yuji asks, but why though? Tengen just shrugs like I don't know her, saying he doesn't understand human vibes and Kenjaku's motive is still a mystery. Maki's like, so just say no to the merge? Tengen sighs, explaining the problem. After evolving, he's more like a cursed spirit than a human. This means he's a valid target for Geto's cursed spirit manipulation. The squad gets the chills. If Kenjaku gets close, he can swallow Tengen like a Pokemon. Then it's literally game over. Yuki asks why he waited until now. Tengen starts a story longer than a soap opera about how Tengen, the star plasma vessel, and the Six Eyes are linked by fate. Kenjaku took 2 LS from the Six Eyes before. Salty as hell, the second time he killed the vessel and the Six Eyes as infants. But the universe said no, and on the day of the merge, they both respawned like nothing happened. After failing the main quest, Kenjaku went to plan B, sealing instead of killing. He found the prison realm. 12 years ago, a glitch in the Matrix appeared. Toji Zenin, the man with 0% cursed energy but 100% hands thanks to heavenly restriction. Toji ruined the merge, and right then, Geto appeared. Kenjaku hit the jackpot, took Geto's body 6 years ago, and with the prison realm in hand, he's finally feeling himself. Megumi asks what the Culling Game is even for. Tengen explains it's the pre-game lobby for the Great Merger. He uses the player's cursed energy to run a ritual that triggers human evolution. To pull off this massive event, Kenjaku had to set some binding vows. He's not the only admin of the game. The game runs until everyone dies or quits. Basically, there's no pause button, only a server reset. Yuji's squad has 19 days to enter, grind 100 points, and add a new rule so Tsumaki and the non-toxic players can leave safely while saving Gojo. Megumi believes if Gojo comes back, the game is easy. Tengen demands his 2 guards. Choso volunteers instantly to protect his little brothers from Kenjaku. Yuki also stays to have a girl talk with Tengen. Yuta is low-key sad to leave the squad. Deal closed. Tengen pulls out some designer gear, the back door of the prison realm. Turns out the box has a front and back entrance. Tengen snatched the back door before Kenjaku could. They're linked, so since Gojo is inside, either door works. Yuji is hyped, thinking they can just open it. Tengen pours cold water on him, keep dreaming, kid. Only the owner can open it. To break the seal, they need 2 legendary items, the inverted spear of heaven and the black rope. But here's the bad news, Gojo destroyed the spear 12 years ago fighting Toji, and he trashed the black rope last year fighting Miguel. Yuji and Megumi are about to have a mental breakdown. Gojo-sensei is truly the CEO of self-sabotage, destroying everything they actually need. Yuta awkwardly laughs, saying he and Miguel went to Africa to find more black rope, but it was a total bust. Turns out their Africa trip was a massive F in the chat. They went for the rope but came back empty-handed, total waste of plane tickets. But we move. Tengen gives them a plan B. There's a top-tier player in the Culling Game calling herself the Angel. She's a 1,000-year-old sorcerer named Hanakurusu. Her skill is broken, she can nullify any cursed technique. With her, they can pop that back door open. Megumi asks where this baddie is. Tengen's like I don't know, because the game barriers are blocking his 5G signal. Tengen shows a map of the 10 colonies across Japan, linked together to force the evolution. Kyoto got a pass because it's a spiritual holy ground. The team checks the deadline. It's November 9th, the game started waking up players on November 1st. The rule is you have 19 days to check into the game. That means Tsumaki only has 10 days and 15 hours left before her account gets permanently banned, dead. Shoko and Maki analyze the rules. Refusing to play equals death via technique removal, which basically fries your brain. Normal people can leave if they didn't sign up for this. Maki is safe since she has no technique, but they're still debating if Panda counts as a player or not. Megumi asks who the game master is. Tengen says the co-game bug following everyone is just the UI, not the admin. The real game master is incognito. Conclusion, they can't change the rules directly, they have to find a glitch. To save Tsumaki, they need to grind 100 points. Yuji is nervous about the killing part, but Megumi's like, don't worry, I cooked up a plan. The battle plan is set, the home defense team is Yuki and Choso. Choso wants to be the best big bro and watch out for Kenjaku. Yuki wants to do research. The loot team is Maki, heading back to the Zenin clan to raid their weapons. Plot twist, Megumi is now the head of the Zenin family. Yuji is shook, like you're the CEO now and didn't tell me? Megumi's like, shut up, we'll talk later. Maki will grab the gear and find Panda. The scout team is Yuta, going solo into the game to gather intel and points before Tsumaki has to enter. He's going solo to keep the comms open and carry from a distance. Yuji is worried about Sukuna taking over his body, remembering his promise to Yuta. But Megumi shuts it down, you aren't allowed to die yet. You die when I die. Their mission, find Kinji Hakari, the third year who's currently suspended. Yuta says when Hakari is on one, he's stronger than him. Maki is a hater, saying in his dreams, he's mid. Squad dismissed. Yuji thanks Choso, and the big brother enthusiast is so touched he starts crying buckets. At a dead comedy club, a 35-year-old dude named Takaba is bombing on stage, his jokes are drier than a desert. Backstage, his boss roasts him, telling him to quit because he's got zero talent and is too old for this. Takaba is big sad. Suddenly, a guy named Ken is reading the paper and says, I thought you were alright. He says there are two types of comedians, the actually funny ones and the ones who are delusional, which one are you? Takaba's confused, like maybe 70 to 30? Or 50 to 50? And boom, episode ends. Takaba's name drops, hinting this unfunny guy is going to be a secret goat. What do y'all think? Saving Gojo looks like a massive grind. Smash that subscribe button and the bell. See you in the next video. The episode kicks off with the baddie herself, Maki. As planned in the previous episode, Yuta's squad split up, and Maki's mission is to raid the Zenin clan's armory for some legendary loot. While she's walking, she hears some man whispering out loud like, wait, is that Maki? I didn't even recognize you. That scar on your face makes you look so different. Couldn't you fix that? Maki turns around and claps back instantly. Excuse me, are you guys really out here judging women's looks now? I thought you'd be focused on literally anything else. Turns out that trolling voice belongs to Naoya Zenin. He keeps poking at Maki, asking what she thinks she's doing. He says since she can't use cursed techniques, can't see curses, and her face is totally cooked, her future is basically deleted. He asks if she's lonely and offers to bully her just like back in the day. This part has some blurry flashbacks, probably showing Naoya being a total menace to Maki when they were kids. He drops a low blow comment, what's your next move, being a groupie for Yuta or a sidekick for Megumi? Maki is officially done with his main character syndrome and just walks away. Maki reaches the armory but gets gatekept. She tells them the clan head gave her the green light. We flash back to the past when Megumi and Maki were at the hospital. Maki spills the tea to Megumi about Naobito's will. All the assets and cursed tools of the Zenin clan are legally left to Megumi. Maki tells Megumi to just accept the clan head title, because if he's the CEO, they can walk into the vault and grab the high-tier gear legally, which is a total win for saving Gojo-sensei and maybe selling some insider info from a top 3 clan for some easy cash. Megumi is not vibing with it at all and tells Maki to do it. But Maki shuts him down, saying she doesn't have the aura to make people respect her yet. Meanwhile, Megumi has a technique, a domain expansion, and that Gojo fame, so he's much easier to be accepted. Even though Megumi doesn't care about the clout, he finally agrees. Maki also admits she's not strong enough yet and hasn't found a safe space for her sister, Mai. Back to the present, Maki arrives at the armory. A woman is standing there throwing shade. It's Maki's own mother. She starts her usual pick-me rant, blaming Maki for making her life miserable and begging her to do something that actually makes her proud for once. Maki hits her with the anyway and walks right into the vault. Inside, it's pitch black and totally empty. Not a single weapon in sight. Instead, she hears the Zenin High Council Oji, Junichi, and Naoya plotting in the shadows. They cook up a diabolical plan to unalive Megumi, Maki, and Mai all at once. The logic is that trying to unseal Gojo Satoru is currently a federal crime, so they'll use that as an excuse for an internal purge without getting caught. Oji Zenin, the father of Maki and Mai, is the one who suggested the plan and even volunteered to kill his own kids. Back in the armory, Maki walks in and sees Oji standing there like a final boss. He's like, I already knew what you were trying to do, so I cleared everything out. Maki looks down at the floor and sees Mai lying there, covered in blood. Mai whispers, calling Maki an idiot for coming back. Maki pulls out her weapon Dragonbone, a literal masterpiece by Juzo Kamiya. Oji sees Maki and starts charging up his secret move, Blazing Courage. Then, the father and daughter start throwing hands. Maki manages to snap Oji's weapon, but Oji still lands a hit that leaves Maki severely injured, even though his sword is broken. Maki is out here still buffering. Wait, the sword is broken, how does the damage still sting like that? Oji smirks with that pure hater energy. You thought breaking the blade was enough? I'm not some sword dancer, I'm the CEO of this technique. Oji then starts dragging his two daughters like they're bags of trash. He keeps going with his toxic main character sob story, blaming the situation. The only reason I wasn't picked as the clan head is because of you two. I'm just as cracked as my brother, he just had better RNG with his kids. My children are literally just ruining my life. He then yeets both sisters into a training room filled with grade 2 and lower cursed spirits. He brags that these monsters are scared of him, but the moment he leaves, it's lunchtime and they're the snack. He walks away with total contempt, treating his daughters like a stain on his reputation. Inside the cell, Mai crawls over to check if Maki is still breathing. Mai says she knew this endgame was coming. The scene shifts to the mental beach, where Mai is standing with Maki, explaining the broken mechanics of twins in the Jujutsu world. I can't create anything too OP or complex because it would literally delete her, especially after getting sliced by Oji. She tells Maki to give it her all. As Mai walks toward the ocean, Maki tries to stop her. Mai explains that twins are a cursed glitch because, in the Jujutsu world, twins are counted as one person. Maki wanted to get buff, but Mai didn't, and since they're linked, Maki will always be stuck with a level cap. As long as Mai exists, Maki will always be at 50% power. Mai decides to make the ultimate sacrifice. She's taking all of Maki's remaining cursed energy with her to the afterlife. In exchange, she makes Maki promise one thing: destroy everything. Mai hands Maki one final sword forged from her own life and then depawns. Maki wakes up clutching the new legendary loot. Outside, Oji feels a massive vibe shift. A primal fear kicks in, a fear he tried to forget, the fear of Toji Fushiguro. Oji decides to use his ultimate move to cremate everything, yelling that he'll turn her into ashes this time. He swings down, nuking the whole building, but boom! A clean slice cuts through the air. Oji's head hits the floor with a thud. Maki literally speedran his execution in 1 second. She walks away cold as ice, telling my spirit that it's time to lock in because she officially doesn't give a damn about anyone anymore. The sirens start screaming. The entire Zenin clan is in a total frenzy. People are shouting that Maki has lost her mind and killed Oji, while the Kokoro squad tries to gatekeep her. Some commander with honghatch spiky hair tells his bros to capture Maki alive so he can torture her, but he has no clue he's about to meet the Reaper. This Kokoro squad is basically a collection of low-tier players with zero techniques who only know basic combat. Maki used to be stuck in the same squad before she moved to Jujutsu High. Maki reappears in her War God skin dual-wielding swords. She starts farming the Kokoro squad like they're NPCs, showing absolutely zero mercy. The scene switches to an artistic black and white filter. Maki starts yeeting her sword like Captain America throwing his shield, harvesting heads left and right. Blood is splattering on windows and walls like some cursed abstract art piece, but it reeks of death. Maki is moving so fast she's basically invisible. Her level has officially reached Toji's tier, tossing bodies and slicing through souls without hesitation. She's dual-wielding Oji's blade and my sword. The spiky-haired captain arrives only to see his team folded like laundry, blood flowing like a river. He is in total shock. Suddenly, a giant hand spawns from the ground to grab Maki. This is Chojuro's technique, a member of the Hay Squad. The Hay Squad has officially entered the chat with 3 heavy hitters. Maki doesn't even flinch, she charges straight at that spiky-haired Kokoro captain. He's still buffering like, what the hell is this actually? Maki has officially broken the laws of physics, ripping through his cursed energy shield like it's cheap candy wrapping, then casually slits his throat. Ranta uses his eye technique to freeze-frame Maki's movement, screaming a warning to Junichi: don't sleep on her. Our clan only exists because Toji spared us back in the day. Maki is literally Toji now. Kill her. Don't let her escape. This is our only chance. Junichi unleashes a literal rain of giant fists, nuking the entire area and creating a shockwave that rattles the atmosphere. They thought they deleted her, but when the smoke clears, Maki spawns right behind him and decapitates Junichi, yeeting his head into the lake. Finally, the final boss of the unit, Naoya Zenin, decides to show his face. We get a flashback of young Naoya. He was always plotting to be the CEO because his technique matched his dad's perfectly. He used to call Maki a low-tier loser with zero cursed energy, claiming she could never sit at the table with Toji and was just a total fake. Naoya uses his projection sorcery to speed blitz Maki. At first, Maki is getting folded because she can't catch his frame rate. Naoya keeps hitting her frame by frame, confidently bragging, "I'm not stopping this time." Suddenly, Maki pulls a Hulk smash clap to create a massive dust cloud. She says she's going to start counting the rhythm. Naoya keeps yapping, flexing about his 24 frames per second technique and saying anyone who touches him has to follow the script or they'll be frozen for 1 second. He lunges in for the finisher, feeling himself way too much. But Maki opens her eyes wide and hits him with the reality check. Nah, you and old man Nabito aren't even that fast. I see everything. She catches Naoya mid-air and delivers a fist of love straight to his face. The punch is so cracked that Naoya's pretty boy face is completely shattered, and he collapses instantly. Maki just drops a cold "my bad." Then, she continues her hunt for her mother with the Soul Liberation Blade. Her mom is hiding in fear, telling Maki to stay back. In a total bloodlust, Maki takes her out. Meanwhile, the cockroach Naoya still hasn't fully logged out. He's crawling away in his flop era, still mumbling and cursing her. "How dare you punch my face, who do you even think you are?" Plot twist: Maki's mom, who is literally on her last breath and severely injured, grabs a kitchen knife and finishes Naoya off. Before she passes, she remembers the moment her twins were born and finally feels a spark of happiness. Momo sees Maki walking out of the wreckage, carrying Mai's body on her shoulder. Momo starts crying uncontrollably. Maki just keeps it brief. "Momo, I'll leave the rest of the cleanup to you." Momo asks where she's going, but Maki gives her the silent treatment. Then, an obituary-style notification pops up on screen: 6 Hey members, 9 high-ranking officials, 21 Kukuro members. Everyone has officially been kicked from the Earth server. There are no specific clues, but the cursed energy signatures on the wounds show they were all taken out by cursed tools. Consequently, the Gojo and Kumo clans have sent a formal proposal to the higher-ups, asking to delete the Zenin clan from the Big Three list. Currently, that request is pending. Maki walks away solo into the sunset, sword in hand, officially a monster on the same tier as Toji. This episode was literally burnt to a crisp and soaked in blood, fam. A top-tier revenge arc for Maki and some elite character development. What do you guys think about this episode? Make sure to drop a comment below, smash the like button, and subscribe to support the shop. Bye bye. The episode kicks off with a scene that's low-key adorable but also high-key creepy. Baby Panda, looking like a total snack in his cute Fomike era, is currently the main character of a brutal interrogation. Panda has the higher-ups absolutely shaking because they can't wrap their heads around an artificial cursed corpse being this cracked, self-healing energy, actual brain cells, and moving independently like a real-life creature. In the eyes of the boomers in charge, this isn't just some brainless puppet, it's a glitch in the matrix with infinite cursed energy that can't be deleted. Because he's built different, his creator, Principal Masamichi Yaga, has been labeled special grade by the council and yeeted straight into the dungeon. The reason these conservative old men are doing the most is the same old conspiracy theory: they're scared he'll get bored and build an entire army of pandas to spawn kill the world. Facing a hardcore interrogation in his cell, Yaga stays calm like a total sensei, gatekeeping the secrets and testing the patience of the power-tripping officials. Suddenly, the flashbacks hit like a truck, showing a deep conversation between Yaga and Takaru, a yellow puppet holding the soul of a kid who passed away. Takaru was out here being a mood, telling Yaga not to worry about work and literally flexing that he's a certified genius. Yaga just gives him a head pat and leaves with a heavy heart. Plot twist: Takaru is actually the emotional support for Kuzukabe's sister, a mom in a wheelchair. Yaga secretly uploaded her son's soul data into the puppet just to give her a reason to keep living. It's a total wholesome moment, but the Jujutsu world sees it as a forbidden technique that's way too dangerous. Back to the brutal reality, Panda is shook because he's getting untied and let go at the same spot where Yuji was once held. Kuzukabe showed up to cut the rope so Panda could escape. Turns out, kidnapping Panda was just a bait and switch to lure Yaga out into the open. Kuzukabe is letting Panda go because he owes Yaga a favor, while Yaga himself has already accepted that he's probably not making it home for the holidays. The moment he steps out of the shadows, Masamichi Yaga gets gatekept by some random dude perched on a lamppost looking like a discount Batman. Realizing he's reached the end of the road, Yaga eats his jacket, ready to go full main character against the man behind it all, his old bestie, Principal Yoshinobu Gakugenji, who's out here clutching his electric guitar. After a brutal showdown that was definitely too expensive for the budget, so it got fast-forwarded, Yaga ends up on the floor, officially running out of HP. Before he logs out for good, he drops the ultimate cursed tea on Gakugenji. He spills the actual recipe for creating an independent cursed corpse. It's not magic, it's basically spiritual science. You have to upload 3 compatible souls into one core so they can constantly watch and keep each other in check. After 3 months of stabilizing, the cursed energy starts self-generating, creating actual life. Old man Gakugenji is shook and asks why he's only spilling the tea now, but Yaga responds with eternal silence. By the time Panda arrives, it's already game over. Instead of crashing out and seeking revenge on Gakugenji in a fit of rage, he totally ghosts the old man and just quietly goes to his dad's body. Gakugenji is surprised that Panda isn't trying to catch those hands, and since he was already in a fighting stance, he looks kinda goofy and embarrassed. Panda basically tells him, "You're old, I'm not even gonna bother with you," before dropping a heart-wrenching line that even a panda knows how to cry. The sound of a stuffed bear sobbing in the dark hits different, closing the chapter on a legendary teacher and a goat father whose story was a total tragedy. Moving on from the big sad vibes, the story shifts back to the struggling duo, Megumi Fushiguro and Yuji Itadori. These two are reminiscing about Master Tengen's intel on Kinji Hakari. This Hakari guy is currently running an underground fight club for gambling in a multi-story parking garage. Master Tengen said the place is packed with sorcerers throwing hands while NPCs bet their life savings on them. Megumi tells Yuji to switch up his fit so they don't look sus. Hakari got suspended because he dared to clap back at the higher-ups, and now he's out here breaking every rule in the book. If he finds out they're from Jujutsu High, he'll ghost them faster than a thief running from the cops. To him, they're the villains. The boomers at the top say Hakari is mid, but Yuta Okkotsu says Hakari is actually more cracked than him. That's why they need his power. The two bros pull up to the old parking lot only to get gatekept by some black-eyed security guards. Megumi immediately activates his yap mode, capping about being the replacement for a fighter named Kondo, a total loser who went ghost last month. The guard tries to act like a tough guy, but his homie shuts him down because rule number 1 is don't talk about the fight club. Megumi drops a final threat: "Let me in so I can get this bread, or I'm leaking this whole operation to the public." Seeing Megumi's stone-cold energy and Yuji's cracked physique standing behind him, the guards agree to book a match. But they insist Yuji is the one who has to get in the ring because he actually looks like he's about that life. On the way down to the arena, Yuji asks some noob question about why they can't run away during the fight. The guard explains some deep business philosophy. This is a hustle, and the hands have to be thrown right in front of the audience so they get hyped enough to drop their life savings on bets. If you ghost into a dark corner, who's gonna watch? Who's gonna pay up? Yuji nods, finally understanding the assignment. Basically, just win big, do it with aura, and flex hard enough to get a meeting with the boss. Yuji steps into the ring while the bloodthirsty crowd is absolutely screaming. The MC, John Bobby, is yelling like a mumble rapper, introducing a no-script match full of drama. And plot twist, his opponent is literally Panda. Up in the VIP lounge, the big boss Hakari is chilling with his baddie Karara, looking hyped as hell. He's a total luck maxer who lives for that fever and high energy rush, treating life like one giant gamble where he always holds the winning hand. Down in the ring, the two Jujutsu high students start their little theatrical performance. While faking a brutal beatdown, they're low-key whispering intel to each other like they're in a group chat. Yuji asks Panda if he's located Hakari yet, and Panda says the guy is camping hard in the monitor room. So, they start acting their hearts out. Yuji barely taps him, but Panda starts screaming like he's getting poked to death, flying around like it's a vintage Hong Kong action movie. The crowd is eating it up, thinking they're watching two martial arts goats go at it. Finally, Panda takes a dive, giving Yuji an easy victory. Panda stays on the floor acting like he's gonna sue for battery, while Yuji successfully catches Hakari's attention exactly as planned. Seeing that Yuji has that star power, Hakari takes the bait and sends Karara to handle the other kid, Megumi, while he personally meets with Yuji. Meanwhile, Panda, after faking his loss, is already out in the woods having a deep talk with Megumi. Panda reveals the real reason he can't get close to Hakari is because of Karara's cracked ability. Every time he tries to pull up to the monitor room, he gets yeeted backward, feeling exactly like Gojo-sensei's infinity skill. The squad decides to use Yuji's invitation as a distraction so Megumi and Panda can stay outside and figure out how to bypass this technique. Karara leads Yuji into the VIP room. The moment they meet, Hakari starts his multi-level marketing hustle culture pitch. He tries to recruit Yuji into the Fight Club system with a starting salary of 10k yen a month, promising he can double it to 20k if he takes his get-rich-quick masterclass. Yuji, having zero brain cells for this, just stone-cold refuses because he's not looking to buy what Hakari is selling. Not discouraged, Hakari starts preaching about what he calls the fever. He claims that people diving into gambling, romance, or a career all need that specific heat. It's because of this fever that people sweat, cry, and even make massive L decisions. He shades people who just want a peaceful life and announces his goal to use the Fight Club to control the fever of the entire country. He wants to take advantage of the current Jujutsu world chaos and the boomers at the top being useless to change the rules and legalize his arenas. It's a massive macro plan smelling like straight cash and power. While he's yapping away, Hakari's phone starts blowing up with a call from Karara, but he ghosts the call to focus on closing the deal with Yuji. He generously offers Yuji a drink to seal the bro bond. With total no thoughts, head empty energy, or maybe just being too honest, Yuji flat out refuses. Give me something non-alcoholic, I'm literally underage. Hakari freezes. A sorcerer who kills for a living, inside a criminal den, actually caring about the legal drinking age. He narrows his eyes, suspicious as hell, trolling Yuji for being as stiff and serious as old man Gojo. At this point, Yuji asks a question that officially tanks his social credit: whose Gojo the cover is blown? Hakari loses it and smashes a glass right into Yuji's face. He realizes this kid is a total Jujutsu high plant, because there's no way a sorcerer doesn't know who Gojo Satoru is. He instantly summons some train doors to sandwich Yuji's neck. Finally, it clicks for Hakari that Karara was calling earlier, and Karara only calls when things are going south. The two hardest heads in the show clash with a thud, signaling that their identities are leaked and a massive combat is about to pop off in the next episode. That's the end of episode 5. Subscribe to the channel now so you don't miss the bloody combat in the next one. Bye bye. The episode starts with a security guard who's just trying to clock out and go home to rot in bed. But life is a scam. Megumi pulls a surprise attack and gives the man a one-way ticket to Dreamland before he even knows what's happening. Over at the security room, another guy sees Panda just sitting there looking like a whole mood. Because he looks low-key adorable, the two guards drop their guard. Boom, the big bear folds them both instantly. Now, Panda starts scaling the building to find the main target. The big bear meets up with Megumi and they head off to find Hakari, but they immediately lock eyes with Karara. In a split second, Karara recognizes Panda and the spiky-haired dude who was hanging with Yuji Itadori. Karara calls it out: these two are definitely Jujutsu high plants. Karara whips out an iPhone 17 to alert Hakari. Megumi has fast reflexes and summons Divine Dog to block the way, but it's too late. Hakari has already seen them, leading to that head-butt showdown to see whose skull is more cracked. Meanwhile, Megumi's attack gets parried by some weird force and he gets yeeted backward. Panda says this move feels suspiciously familiar every time you get close. An invisible force pushes you away like two magnets with the same polarity. Kirara sees Panda approaching and runs toward Hakari's room. Panda chases after them while trying to explain they aren't enemies and just want to talk. But Kirara screams back that trusting Panda was a total L. Megumi's divine dog blocks the path again. Kirara is stuck in a choose-your-fighter nightmare, sandwiched between a dog and a bear, both carrying mysterious symbols. Megumi is looking at this technique and is totally confused. He doesn't understand the mechanics. He tries to convince Kirara that Tokyo is currently cooked and they need Hakari to carry the team ASAP, swearing they don't represent the boomers at the school. But Kirara is pure disgust, reminding him that the school was the one who ghosted Hakari first. Before Megumi can process the drama, Panda explains the lore Hakari has major beef with the conservatives. The Kumo clan plays it traditional so the elders stand them, but Hakari is all about that tech system with cursed videos. It's way too modern for the boomers, so they labeled it as heresy. That's why both sides are no longer mutuals. Kirara claps back. If you have Gojo Satoru, why would you even need Hakari? Megumi has to drop the truth bomb. Gojo sensei has been sealed. Kirara's face is just yeah, I totally believe you, leaving Megumi and the big bear looking like total NPCs. Realizing that yapping isn't working, Megumi decides to take action. He activates Escape Rabbit, releasing a whole swarm of bunnies. Megumi low-key notices that every single rabbit has a tattoo identical to the symbols on the walls and objects. As the rabbits flood out like a mob, Kirara wonders what Megumi is even cooking. She thinks since these rabbits are all made of energy, and her technique marks energy, every single bunny is now tagged. Kirara is positive Megumi is about to get counter-ratioed, causing him to overload and get absolutely crushed. But boom, the bunny swarm suddenly depawns, vanishing into thin air. Megumi has already read her like a book. He realizes he's also tagged with a seal just like the rabbits. He does a vibe check with Panda and sees Panda is also tagged right on his, but even though the symbols are different. Megumi's brain officially expands. These drawings aren't just random graffiti, they are the names of constellations. Kirara hears this and tries to keep acting tough, but when Megumi confidently confirms the main constellation is the Southern Cross, Kirara immediately flinches, her face goes blank, and she basically plays herself because her expression confirms Megumi's theory is 100% correct. Thanks to that reaction, Megumi locks in his deduction. He explains that this constellation has 4 main stars, and Kirara's technique operates based on the positions of those stars. According to the rules, some people can get close to each other, while others get yeeted away like magnets with the same polarity. But right now, Panda and Megumi aren't repelling each other, while Kirara and the door are linked. It's a situation where A can get close to B, but B gets pushed away from A. Megumi starts suspecting there's a 5th star lurking somewhere in the shadows. Panda's brain is also loading, just hoping there aren't any more stars so his head doesn't literally explode. While looking for a glitch in the system, Kirara suddenly attaches a mark to a car. Bad luck for Panda that mark matches his, so he gets pulled by an invisible force and stuck to the car like glue. Megumi is still free, so he dashes off to find the 5th star, calling out to Panda while analyzing the situation. He realizes the push-pull force that once hit Divine Dog is now being applied to both of them. The more they struggle, the harder they get pulled in. Megumi continues to expand his brain and realizes Kirara doesn't even need to touch someone to tag them. Since she never touched him or the bunnies, it proves the technique attaches directly to cursed energy. But the real question is how she tagged a whole car. Megumi figures out that Kirara must have pumped her own mana into the vehicle beforehand. Finally, Megumi discovers the 5th star, which is Mimosa. Turns out Kirara uses her own energy signature to set spatial markers that block the path. Megumi calculates that as long as he touches the star, he can finally pull up on Kirara. But right then, Kirara spawns in to gatekeep him. She admits she didn't expect Megumi to decode the lore so accurately, but she's determined not to let him win. However, Kirara makes a fatal L by ignoring Panda. Megumi eats a rabbit into the air, and Panda catches it, throwing it straight at the spot marked Mimosa. Witnessing her complex defense system which took so much effort to build suddenly get deleted, Kirara loses her cool and screams, reversing the constellations and sending the car flying at Megumi. However, Megumi has been waiting for this golden moment for ages. He immediately orders Divine Dog to pull a surprise attack on the target. Every bit of frame-perfect timing is spot on, allowing Divine Dog to bypass the invisible boundary and corner Kirara, cutting off all her exits. Finally, Megumi successfully restrains his difficult senior. Even while captured, Kirara is still salty, claiming that if Divine Dog hadn't accidentally been sucked in from the start, there's no way Megumi would have seen through the secret. At this point, Megumi calmly explains the hidden rules of the technique. Objects or people with the highest cursed energy get pulled toward each other like magnets based on the star's positions. In reality, he noticed the anomaly in this pulling force very early on. Hearing this, Kirara is actually impressed. She didn't think a freshman would have such out-of-this-world tactical thinking. Putting his ego aside, Megumi begs Kirara to just give them a chance to talk. Just as the vibes are getting serious, Yuji suddenly gets yeeted past them like a bird, signaling Hakari's high-energy entrance. Without saying a word, Hakari starts throwing hands at Yuji non-stop. He coldly announces that he'll only listen after seeing how much Yuji can actually tank. Having no other choice, Yuji just has to grit his teeth and take the beatdown. These aren't the big brain-calculated moves like back in Shibuya, these are raw, heavy-hitting punches meant to shatter bones and wreck faces with every hit. The brutality is so out of pocket that even Kirara, who's just watching, feels the second-hand pain and has to tell him to chill. Yuji tries to explain that the upperclassmen rate Hakari as the GOAT and they desperately need him to carry the team. In response, Hakari just hits him with a sarcastic smirk, questioning if Yuji is really ready to throw his life away over some mid-favor. He even starts shading Principal Yaga, wondering why the old man would train someone who looks this basic. Facing the disrespect, Yuji claps back with ironclad resolve I'm just a cog in the machine for exercising curses. This NPC-coded answer just makes Hakari even more triggered. He puts 100% power into a punch that yeets Yuji into the stratosphere, making all three spectators low-key terrified. Just when it looks like it's game over and Hakari is about to ghost the scene, Yuji suddenly spawns right behind him, standing as solid as a rock. Hakari is shook, unable to believe his eyes that his opponent is still vibing after taking that massive gym bro hit. A normal person would have logged out for good after one punch, but this kid is literally built different. Yuji activates serious mode, announcing he's ready to do whatever it takes, even playing along with Hakari's weird little games just to reach the goal. Witnessing that burning fever and a level of dedication that is honestly borderline unhinged, Hakari finally has a vibe shift and starts respecting Yuji's actual worth. Even though he hates the boomer leadership at Jujutsu High, he can't bring himself to ignore a baddie with a heart that brave. Hakari's nod officially confirms he's joining the squad. Right then, a new notification from the Culling Game drops and leaves everyone stunned. Rule number 9 has just been added, basically giving players map hacks. You can now see the names, scores, and current locations of every other player in the barriers. The one behind this cracked update is a heavy hitter named Hajime Kashimo, an ancient sorcerer who'd just reincarnated. Kashimo is out here shading modern sorcerers for being weak as hell and having zero aura compared to the war gods from 400 years ago. His main goal is to find Sukuna for a 1v1, but he's getting salty because he can't find anyone actually on his level. Since he's already farmed 200 points, he used them to add that location rule just to speedrun his hunting. That's the end of the episode. Stay tuned for the next one to see who's the hunter and who's the prey. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Bye bye. Episode 7 kicks off with a girl sleeping like a log, only to be rudely awakened. Some random guy is standing there, nonchalantly explaining that he just put up a barrier in the neighborhood so people can conveniently slaughter each other. The girl is like, excuse me? Can you not do that in my backyard? But this bootleg Suguru Ghetto laughs like he just won the lottery, saying it cost him way too many calories to set this up, so he doesn't have the energy to cater to her petty demands. He tells her that anyone who got stuck inside during the setup gets a free pass out. She's about to wake up from this half-asleep nightmare. So she grabs the long-haired creep's hand to get the hell out of this cursed circus. Before leaving, Ghetto even thanks her for being friends with his son. Finally, she wakes up in the real world, hearing some guy screaming her name. Everyone is staring blankly at the massive barrier. They all sink their dreams, but only Sasaki heard the part about his son. Cut to Hakari, who freezes for a solid 5 seconds, jaw hitting the floor when he hears that Gojo has been sealed in a box. Panda adds salt to the wound by saying the principal has kicked the bucket, but tells Itadori to stay calm, it's not another Shibuya incident. Panda had to throw hands with the higher-ups over that mess. Hakari can't believe his ears, wondering why all the decent folks around him are dropping like flies. He says he hasn't felt this down since he took an arrow to the rear end. So he agrees to help clean up this Culling Game mess, but he's not running a charity. Quid pro quo, once the job is done, you guys have to help him with his own hustle. Megumi says, sure, easy enough. Hakari snaps immediately, what does this scrawny kid know? But when the kid drops the bomb that he's the head of the Zenin clan, the gambling boss's eyes pop out of his head. Thinking that with the backing of one of the big 3 families, manipulating the old geezers would be a piece of cake. He flips faster than a pancake, suddenly demanding to become sworn brothers with Megumi. Little did this boss know, the very next day, the entire Zenin clan would be completely wiped off the map by Maki. Suddenly, Kogame pops up like an annoying ad, yapping about new rules. It's the operator connecting players to the game. This one belongs to Yuji. Megumi wonders why Yuji counts as a player. Turns out Sukuna is basically an ancient fossil from 1,000 years ago who signed a contract with Kenjaku to become a cursed object. The guys demand to see the full player list, and Kogen spills the info immediately. They want to know which maniac added a new rule and what they're plotting. Definitely nothing good, since the guy has a whopping 200 points equivalent to sending 40 people to the afterlife. Meanwhile, our team wants to take the pacifist route, no killing. Megumi tells Kogen to filter for anyone with over 100 points. But this nightmare mascot only listens to its owner, Yuji. They look for someone with over 100 points who hasn't used their rule change yet. The plan is to beg them to add a rule so Megumi's sister can escape the game. Yeah, sure, the guy with a massive body count is suddenly going to grow a conscience and donate points to save a stranger, right? Talk about wishful thinking. They find someone with 102 points, and hope flickers again. But first, they have to deal with rule number 8, if your score doesn't change in 19 days, your technique gets revoked, basically the game saying, game over. So they plan to add a rule to transfer points. Saves them from having to stab others to farm points. After that, Megumi wants to add a rule allowing players to buy their way out of the game. Hakari looks at him like, are you high? You want a free ride? Life isn't a fairy tale, you can't just exploit glitches like that. But Megumi argues they can balance the books by swapping in a substitute player. The plan is simple but sounds absolutely crazy. Find Angel to unseal Gojo, while simultaneously hunting down Hajime Kashimo and Hiromi Higuruma to pressure them into adding new rules. What they didn't expect is that Kashimo is charging straight toward them, looking for Sukuna's vessel. Yuji scrolls through the list until his fingers cramp but can't find anyone named Angel. Panda chimes in, saying they probably used a gamer tag or something. It's not like Yuji walks around with Sukuna stamped on his forehead for everyone to see. Tengen drops the intel that Angel is in East Tokyo, claiming you'll know them when you see them. So the squad splits up, Panda and Hakari head to colony number 2, while Megumi and Itadori take colony number 1. Kirara starts pouting about being sidelined. Hakari justifies it by saying Kashimo is the strongest, so naturally, he should handle the heavy lifting. Makes sense. Panda starts bragging that his nose is sharp enough to sniff out Angel from a mile away. Since phones turn into useless bricks inside the barrier, Kirara stays outside to monitor the feed and update everyone. Yuji suggests splitting up again because Sukuna keeps eyeing Megumi like a snack. But Megumi shuts him down instantly. Zip it, I'm used to it. At the barrier, Kogen asks if they're ready to seal the deal. Once you're in, there's no way out. The whole gang gives the green light. Inside, a gang of campers is already lying in wait to ambush fresh meat. Megumi warns them to be careful of those 1,000-year-old reincarnated sorcerers. These fossils kill people like it's nothing, and Kashimo and Higuruma fit the profile. The moment they step inside, everyone gets scattered. Poor Yuji gets the short straw and ends up playing the role of a skydiver, without a parachute. The map has 9 spawn points, and surprise surprise, they're all crawling with campers looking to farm points off the clueless newbies. Before Yuji even hits the deck, he takes a rocket-speed headbutt straight to the dome. The rookie hunter is losing his mind because Yuji is built like a tank. Any normal person would have been turned into ground beef. Yuji starts pulling off some Olympic-level parkour to make an exit while the girl tries to call for backup. But before she can do a thing, she takes a rock to the face and goes down for the count immediately. Suddenly, a guy with a mustache shows up, screaming about who dared to lay a hand on his better half. Meanwhile, a shaky dude with binoculars recognizes our uninvited guest as none other than Itadori. On the other side of the fence, we've got a girl crying a river, demanding to know why Megumi got physical with her. He's totally deadpan, basically telling her, you swung first, so deal with it. He does a quick lap to check the map, finds zilch, and asks the girl if she knows a sorcerer named Higuruma. She pulls the "you think hitting a lady is going to make me talk" card, but Megumi isn't playing games. He gives her a choice, answer the question or prepare to be deleted. She folds instantly, realizing he's not the one to mess with. Back to the action, Itadori is still in the middle of his parkour marathon. He grabs the helicopter head freak by the legs and grinds his face against the side of the building like a malfunctioning lawnmower. It's some Matrix-level dodging to avoid those blades, but then a gust of wind from some old fossil blows him back. This old guy is clinging on like a tick, spinning his head like a ceiling fan with a loose screw. Yuji double kicks the guy in the face and ducks into a building to take away the guy's air advantage. He camps in there, waiting for the lunatic to charge in. The guy smashes through everything, screaming about turning Yuji into peanut butter, but Itadori lands a certified punch to the skull that fries the guy's circuits. The blades snap, and the old man faceplants into the wall like a mosquito that just inhaled a gallon of Raid. At one point, some clown tries to get a cheeky hit on Yuji's wrist and thinks he's won. Game over, kid, he gloats. Then Yuji delivers a kick straight to the crown jewels that shuts him down permanently. Trust me, you could feel that one through the screen. Absolute agony. Back with Megumi, the girl says she'll point the way if he plays knight in shining armor and puts his life on the line to protect her. He agrees instantly, provided she's telling the truth. As Yuji is trying to wake the old man up for a little interrogation, the guy with the binoculars jumps in and says he knows where Higuruma is. Megumi, meanwhile, warns his girl that he's not a nice guy like Itadori and is perfectly fine with going nuclear to get his 100 points. She snaps back, telling him to stop calling her lady, her name is Remy. Itadori asks the blonde guy how he knows his name. Amai says Yuji is basically a legend, the Tiger of West Junior High, so everyone knows him. Megumi asks Remy why she attacked him if she's not one of those ancient sorcerers. She says she didn't choose to play this trash game, she's been stuck there for 12 days, and if she doesn't kill, she's toast. Megumi tells her to spill the address, but gives zero guarantees that he won't handle her after she talks. Both guys ask the same question, where is Higuruma? But here's the kicker, Amai says he's in Ikebukuro, where the supplies are, while Remy swears he's in Shinjuku. So, who's blowing smoke here? I'm not saying anything, but looking at that girl, her trustworthiness is sitting at absolute zero. Episode 8 kicks off with a reminder that smells like straight-up cold vibes. In Japan, 99.9% of criminal trials end with a guilty verdict. A kid who just got bagged by the police starts yapping about his life being a total disaster. He was just minding his business when 3 cops spawned out of nowhere to surround him. In his head, he's only worried about one thing, bruh, if I get boxed up, my cat at home is definitely gonna starve to death. The reason he got snatched is because back in Morocco, a young girl and her mom just got deleted right inside their own house. And boom, the police officially labeled the kid as the suspect for robbery and murder. The logic, he was near the scene, and most importantly, he dared to book it when the cops were just trying to vibe check him. Even worse, when they followed him back to his crib, the boys in blue accidentally dug up the murder weapon still covered in the victim's blood. Despite getting pressed hard, the kid Kata keeps shouting his head off, swearing he only picked up the knife on the street to turn it into the station. And obviously, nobody is buying that fake AF excuse. In reality, Kata is a running-on-food volunteer at a nursing home, daily cleaning up messy situations for fossilized seniors who can't even change their own diapers. He works for zero pay, only getting some leftovers to survive, so the only person in the world who believes he's innocent is his defense attorney. This is Hiromi Higuruma, the name Megumi and Itadori are thirsting to find. Higuruma eats a massive pile of investigative KPIs at his assistant, with a bonus mission to go clean up the landmines for the kid's cat. His assistant is totally fed up, wondering why her boss keeps picking up these no-hope cases with 0 win rates. An old female colleague nearby sighs, that's just his personality, he's been like that forever, deal with it. They hunt through every corner, and finally manage to pull an Uno reverse, proving Kata is clean. But Higuruma isn't happy at all, he knows the prosecutors will just script a new scenario to gank the kid again. Sure enough, the guy from the prosecution side immediately makes a move. They didn't find the stolen loot at Kata's place, and coincidentally, a nursing home employee ghosted the scene right after the murder happened. The fatal blow, Kata's image is trending clearly on a convenience store security camera at the exact time of the crime. Even though Kata keeps thanking them for trusting him, the second trial still hits like a hammer. While the defense attorney has to pinch every penny to protect his client, the prosecution side is out here burning taxpayers' money to produce evidence. And by some magical logic that's totally delusional, the judge decides there's zero reason to suspect the employee who literally ghosted. They straight up ignore all the evidence and yeet the guilty verdict onto Kata's head. The kid looks at Hiromi Higuruma with absolute despair, like he's blaming him for failing to save his life. Kata is prepped to log out from society with a life sentence. Having reached his limit, Higuruma officially crashes out. He starts slamming the table, screaming for everyone to get back here. He summons a weirdly shaped monster and declares, "Server reset. I'm restarting this whole trash trial from zero." At this point, the plot circles back to the cliffhanger from the last episode. Amai is positive that Higuruma is camping at Ikebukuro. Meanwhile, Remy is swearing on everything that he's in Shinjuku. Megumi is low-key hoping Itadori is also heading to Shinjuku. But of course, in a classic L move, our boy Yuji is running his heart out in the exact opposite direction, thinking the same thing. In another scene, some buff long-haired dude is complaining about how the girl is taking too long to finesse the next victim into the trap. Flashback time, Amai remembers his juvenile days, watching a chubby kid get bullied into oblivion at school every day. He didn't dare say a word because he didn't want to get deleted by them too, but then one day, a random kid spawns out of nowhere and starts throwing hands, soloing the entire trash mob. 1 punch, 2 bodies. One thug gets salty and grabs a metal pipe to get revenge, but the kid dodges effortlessly, slams his face into the cement, and delivers a roundhouse kick straight to the next guy's jaw. Amai almost caught those hands too because the kid thought he was part of the squad. Back to the present, Megumi is interrogating Remy, asking if she's for real about going through Ikebukuro to get to Shinjuku. That area is high loot, which means players are camping there like crazy. It's high-key dangerous. Remy makes an excuse that it's a shortcut, plus she has a base there and wants to take a shower because she feels gross. Classic. On the other side, Amai reveals Higuruma is using a theater as his HQ, then asks Itadori if he's actually serious about pulling up there. Even though he's never caught a fade from Higuruma personally, Amai knows for a fact the lawyer already humbled the helicopter head guy, an achievement that, honestly, isn't even a flex. Yuji just shrugs like it's no biggie, whatever, they're probably on the same level anyway. But the second Yuji steps foot into the theater, Amai starts spiraling, spamming apologies like he just sold his teammate out to the corporate overlords. Back to Megumi, the kid finally realizes he's been finessed and fell for the bait. While wandering around looking for Hiromi Higuruma, he runs straight into a weirdo who looks like a glitched rooster mascot. Megumi hits Remy with a death stare, radiating pure crash-out energy. But she just keeps her chin up, clapping back, "Those ugly faces don't scare me," period. Before she can even finish her sentence, Megumi summons a jumbo-sized wolf ready to bite both their heads off. Meanwhile, at the theater, Itadori successfully vibe checks Higuruma. The lawyer bro is just chilling in a bathtub, asking the kid if he's ever tried the sensation of jumping into a tub with all his clothes on, then drops a truth bomb. "Once you hit 30, your brain just starts glitching like that, lil bro." Yuji shows up with peace offerings wanting to negotiate, but Higuruma immediately puts on his elite lawyer persona, charging a fee of 5,000 yen for every 30 minutes of small talk. Then he laughs it off, saying he's just trolling those fake lawyers who be out here scamming people for clout and cash. Yuji tries to finesse 100 points out of Higuruma, thinking this deal looks easy because the guy doesn't look like one of those dangerous, ancient reincarnated sorcerers. Back at Megumi's location, the long-haired freak starts clapping, glazing Megumi's technique, that Shikigami is fire. He tries to act like they're besties, asking to exchange info. Even Remy is frozen, not understanding what kind of theater her boss is performing, but Megumi freezes when he hears the guy mention Kenjaku. The guy claims that the whole conspiracy about using players' cursed energy to evolve is straight-up capping, giving 3 fatal reasons: the player count, the skill gap, and the barrier rules. Do the math, 1,000 players divided by 10 colonies means 100 people per area, but in those numbers, you have absolute out-of-this-world monsters like Hajime Kashimo or Higuruma. Every colony definitely has at least one raid boss like that, so pretty soon, the game will just be a stage for S-tier madmen to 1v1 each other, and the Culling Game will hit a total stalemate. In reality, in Colony 1, that stalemate already happened ages ago. Megumi finally has a bright light moment, realizing this area is as dead as a ghost town because all the weak creeps have been cleared from the map, not to mention a bunch of them probably logged out the second they teleported, falling from the sky like unlucky birds. If the real goal was to milk everyone's cursed energy, they should have kept as many players breathing as possible. Back at the theater, Itadori puts his cards on the table, straight up asking for Higuruma's 100 points to add a new rule and end the Culling Game for good. And obviously, the lawyer says no in the most savage way possible. He claims he sees massive potential in this game. He thinks it would be iconic if people actually had to pay for their sins for real, without having to perform in some legal circus or deal with mid-courtroom drama. So, he has zero interest in ending the game early, especially since he's high-key waiting to see if any low IQ players break rules number 2 and 8 just so he can watch them lose their techniques for the plot. Yuji starts yapping back, saying if they keep stalling, people all over Japan are gonna log out for good, and since talking isn't working, he's gonna have to use his hands to finesse those 100 points. Higuruma stands up and drops a line with major main character energy. "In this world, nothing hits harder than stepping on people who get on my nerves." Yuji goes into a defensive stance, knowing someone who sent 20 souls to the afterlife is never a mid-tier opponent. And boom, the first domain expansion of the season is officially live. Higuruma slams his gavel and loudly announces the death penalty. Itadori really poked the bear this time. Meanwhile, the crazy dude on the other side is feeding Megumi some tea, claiming Kenjaku's real plot is to round up all the strongest elites and then drop a massive tactical nuke. That's when the deep goal of the Culling Game actually gets completed, and speak of the devil, Kenjaku casually walks into a meeting with the big shots of the Jujutsu world, smiling and thanking them for the invite. The drama is officially burnt to a crisp. Can Itadori actually go full beast mode against someone who wants to drown everyone in a sea of blood? Subscribe to keep up with the lore, besties. Bye. Imagine catching a death sentence just for using a bathroom. Our boy Yuji is officially cooked because he just ran into an opponent who plays by the book literally. Welcome to a high-stakes recap of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3, Episode 9. Right out of the gate, Yuji senses the vibes are trending toward a total disaster if he stays trapped in his opponent's domain. He tries to end it quickly with a heavy-hitting punch, but bad luck strikes. He's a second too slow. In this twisted domain, all forms of violence are strictly forbidden for everyone involved. Yuji gets forcibly teleported back to the start, but this time, he's standing right in the middle of a witness stand. It turns out Higuruma is a certified prodigy. It only took him 12 days after awakening his powers to unlock a domain expansion. This isn't your typical combat zone, it's a legal-themed domain built on mandatory courtroom procedures. There is one supreme law here: any physical harm is a total no-go. Since violence is completely nerfed, neither Yuji nor Higuruma can touch a single hair on each other's heads. The battlefield pulls a total 180, turning into a high-pressure mental chess match in a supernatural court. Higuruma starts breaking down the rules. The judgeman knows every dark secret of anyone who enters the domain. It has the power to dig up any receipts from the defendant's past, from a minor traffic ticket to the most heinous crimes imaginable. The kicker, even Higuruma doesn't know which specific charge will be randomly selected. In this legal drama, Yuji is the defendant, and Higuruma is the prosecutor. Yuji has three options for his defense: he can stay completely silent, plead guilty, or deny everything. After both sides argue their case, Judgman drops the final verdict. Higuruma signals for the trial to begin, and immediately, an indictment is leveled straight at Yuji. The charge: on May 16, 2017, the defendant, Yuji Itadori, allegedly entered a pachinko parlor. Since he was under 18 at the time, this is a clear-cut violation of the law. Yuji starts sweating bullets, realizing this isn't just a game, it's a life or death situation. A file of evidence spawns into Higuruma's hands. While it's not a 100% guarantee that he's guilty, Yuji's mission is to spin a defense compelling enough to get an acquittal. Yuji is shaking because this is literally a pro-lawyer's territory. How is he supposed to win an argument against a specialist? Back in court, Higuruma pressures Yuji to speak. There's a major trap, though each side only gets one chance to make their statement. Yuji asks what the penalty is if he's found guilty, but Higuruma refuses to give a straight answer. Yuji follows up with, "Wait, am I allowed to lie?" Higuruma tells him absolutely. After all, if everyone told the truth, there would be no reason for courts to exist in the first place. Hearing that, Yuji knows he definitely went into that parlor, but there's no way he's pleading guilty in front of a judge, so he tries to finesse the system. "I went in there, sure, but I was just borrowing the bathroom." Is taking a leak really a crime now? But Higuruma just hits him with a confident smirk. Higuruma pulls a receipt out of the envelope, and it's a high-definition photo of Yuji standing right at the cash exchange counter, using the restroom at the payout window. Yuji is officially speechless. His lie just got caught in 4K. He realizes that if Megumi were there to sub in, they might have actually had a winning strategy. Yuji starts questioning where the justice is, but Higuruma tells him he's being way too naive. He points out that Yuji could have easily finessed the system by just denying everything and saying he'd never seen the place before. That massive gap in legal knowledge just cost Yuji the entire round. Finally, Judgman drops the hammer with a guilty verdict. The domain depawns instantly, and both fighters are back in the old theater. Yuji thinks he dodged a bullet since he feels fine, but then Higuruma yeets his gavel straight at him. Yuji blocks it, but the lawyer closes the gap in a flash, enlarging the gavel to slam Yuji into the floor. That's when it hits and Yuji can't focus or tap into his cursed energy anymore. This is the confiscation penalty. Since Yuji doesn't have a built-in cursed technique, the punishment defaults to a total blackout of his cursed energy reserves. Despite the nerf, Higuruma actually praises Yuji's durability before jumping right back into a relentless assault. He swings his gavel with his right hand, and even though Yuji dodges, Higuruma uses his cursed energy to spawn a second gavel in his left hand for a follow-up strike. Yuji is constantly getting blown back by the raw power of these attacks. You have to hand it to Higuruma. He's a certified genius in the courtroom, but his natural talent as a sorcerer is what's truly terrifying. In just 12 days since awakening his powers, Higuruma has speedrun his way to grade 1 level and mastered a domain expansion. He explains that once a target is sentenced, they lose their ability to use cursed techniques. Because Yuji is essentially running on a no-magic build, the penalty redirected itself to confiscating his ability to use cursed energy entirely. Even so, Higuruma is low-key shook that Yuji is still out here throwing hands and keeping up with him despite having zero mana to buff his stats. The lawyer realizes this kid's physical base stats and tank energy are way beyond a normal human's. Deciding to stop holding back, Higuruma goes full serious mode, vowing to use his maximum output to crush Yuji. The two dive into a high-octane brawl where Higuruma flexes his skills, summoning and shapeshifting his gavel mid-swing to keep Yuji struggling. Yuji tries to find a blind spot to flip the script, but Higuruma reads him like a legal brief. He brings down a massive iron structure, sending Yuji crashing down. In a desperate move, Yuji kicks a whole bathtub at his opponent. Higuruma smashes it to bits with his gavel, creating a smokescreen of debris and water to distract him. Seizing the opening, he reinforces his gavel and lands a massive heaven-sent blow right to Yuji's dome. No matter how much of a tank he is, those consecutive hits are starting to drain Yuji's HP. He knows he can't hold out forever and needs to get his mana back to survive, so he has to find a way to break through Higuruma's overwhelming pressure. Yuji is out here racking his brain, looking for a glitch in the matrix of these courtroom rules. Suddenly, he demands a retrial. Just like that, Higuruma's domain reboots, dragging them both back into the supernatural court with a fresh set of charges. This time, Yuji gets hit with a high-stakes indictment. He's the primary suspect in the Shibuya mass massacre from October 31, 2018. Unlike his previous pachinko finesse attempt, Yuji doesn't even hesitate. He pleads guilty on the spot. Judgman doesn't waste a second, dropping the ultimate sentence, the death penalty for Yuji Itadori. The gavel in Higuruma's hand morphs into the legendary executioner's sword. Now, his opponent is wielding a weapon that's pure nightmare fuel, a blade with a one-hit kill hacks that transcends physical durability. Trying to parry this with bare hands is straight up suicide. Higuruma knows for a fact that anyone nicked by this blade is catching an immediate, one-way ticket to the afterlife with zero exceptions. However, deep down, Higuruma starts feeling a wave of empathy for Yuji. He sees the heavy darkness and the soul-crushing guilt the kid is carrying on his shoulders. He realizes Yuji's flaws are just like the ones he sees in the victims and criminals he defends every day. Everyone has a dark side and makes mistakes, no matter how noble their intentions are. Higuruma tells Yuji that the tiny spark of light he's trying to keep alive isn't enough to flex against the surrounding shadows that will eventually swallow him whole. This is exactly why he chose to be a lawyer instead of a judge in the past. He was terrified his own bias would lead to a massive L while handing out justice. But now, he claims he's done caring about moral dilemmas because he has the power to decide who lives or dies. Yuji knows charging in without any mana is a death wish, so he kicks a bunch of theater seats into the air to create a smokescreen. To keep the confusion levels high, Yuji eats his hoodie as a bait to distract Higuruma while he slips into a blind spot for the finisher. Higuruma suddenly freezes, having a flashback to the moment Yuji admitted his guilt without an ounce of hesitation or cap. It was a rare moment where Higuruma saw zero deception or rot in someone's soul, and he finds that level of honesty actually respectable. It turns out Higuruma has the ability to peek at the evidence files. He's low-key shocked to find Yuji taking the fall for everything when the receipts clearly show Sukuna hijacked his body to commit the crimes. Legally speaking, Yuji is 100% innocent right then. Yuji's heavy-hitting punch connects, sending Higuruma flying across the room. While laying on the floor, the lawyer quotes Article 39 of the Penal Code, explaining that Yuji isn't guilty because he had zero consciousness or control over his actions at the time. Plus, the fact that Yuji fought to get his body back is the ultimate proof of his innocence. Higuruma officially declares not guilty. Yuji is confused, wondering how this lawyer knows all the private tea regarding him and Sukuna. He still blames himself for being too weak, seeing his lack of strength as his greatest sin. After catching those hands from Yuji, Higuruma finally finds his true self and his core values again. The two sit down for a real one's only talk. As Yuji puts his hoodie back on, Higuruma hits him with a heavy question. Have you ever truly wanted to kill someone? Yuji looks him dead in the eye and simply says, yes. That is the absolute fire ending of episode 9. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to catch the next part of the lore and stay tuned for the new videos. Once the streets are cleared of everyone except the out-of-this-world top-tier players, Kenjaku is planning to drop a Hiroshima-sized tactical nuke to send the whole server to the afterlife. This logging out scenario could happen at any moment, as unpredictable as an X pulling a U-turn on a Friday night. That's exactly why the old man is grinding his KPIs to recruit VIP allies. Megumi just rolls his eyes, looking at Remy with pure disappointment because he knows she's low-key mid. Her whole vibe is only good for baiting sim-tier players straight into a trap. Megumi drops a reality check that hits like a truck. Wake up, sis, the second you lose your utility, these clowns are gonna delete you just to farm your points. The guy with the greasy hair tries to play it off like, I'm not even that type of guy, I swear. While they're mid-argument, Megumi leaks some world-shaking news. New rule just dropped, fam. The update players can now ting-ting transfer points to each other. Hearing this, Megumi starts flexing. Alright, you trash bags, cough up those 100 points right now. Obviously, Reggie says no immediately, and the negotiations officially hit a wall. It's time to catch hands. Some other long-haired dude tries to play dirty and backstab Megumi. But our boy has elite reflexes. He ducks low and yeets the guy out the window like he's taking out the trash. New swoops down to try and turn Reggie into a snack, while Megumi makes one thing clear: I never want to see that girl's snake-like face ever again. But bad RNG hits. Divine Dog gets taken out of the fight. Reggie finally clocks a major detail: Megumi can't actually kill them because he's thirsty for those points, and the kid is gonna regret not going full beast mode when he had the chance. Suddenly, a floating eyeball spawns in and boom, everything explodes like a mini nuke. The author of this chaos is Iori, standing in the smoke with 35 points to his name. The SUS Remy tries another backstab on Megumi but fails miserably. The enemy shows zero chill, pouring gasoline and tossing mini bombs, planning to turn the whole block into a charcoal grill. Megumi uses his high IQ plays and steals a move from Reggie's playbook, ducking into a building to camp and reset. He turns to Remy and gives her a final wake-up call: stop being delusional. Those idiots don't care if you get nuked along with the building, but she's still on that no thoughts, head empty energy, stabbing Megumi again while looking absolutely unhinged. She starts begging him to swear he'll protect her because the other guys ghosted her. Obviously, Megumi has zero sympathy for that kind of behavior. Chizuru Hari comes crawling back after getting yeeted out the window earlier. While he's clutching his 28 points, Kogen spawns in to announce that a new rule is officially live. Even Megumi is shook. No way, Yuji actually added rule number 10 that fast. Without wasting a heartbeat, Megumi grabs a machete and charges straight at Chizuru. The long-haired creep pins Megumi onto a bed, looking way too excited in a total SUS way. But he seriously underestimated Megumi's frog Shikigami. The frog snatches him back, choking him from behind and riding him like a horse. Then, another frog spawns in to double-team him, locking him down. Chizuru's face turns beet red like a tomato before he finally breaks free. But before he can even celebrate, Megumi summons a jumbo-sized elephant. The elephant delivers a massive but slam and kicks him out the window for the second time. This time, Megumi is finished playing. He lands 3 brutal punches to the face. He tosses the original no-kill plan into the trash and sends the long-haired creep to meet his ancestors. It was all for the sake of saving his sister. Kogen announces that Megumi just secured 5 points. Right then, the 2 other idiots paraglide down, complaining about the wasted points. Megumi knows he's backed into a corner and debates whether to drop his domain expansion. The problem, his domain is still in beta mode. He can't close the barrier to trap them yet. Just as things get dicey, Iori Hazunoki spits out an explosive tooth, but at the last second, a middle-aged dude wearing nothing but a pair of undies jumps in to tank the blast. He screams at them, "Have you cowards no shame? Jumping a guy 2-on-1 is weak sauce." This guy's head is leaking strawberry syrup everywhere, but he acts like the explosion was just a light tickle. Megumi is speechless, not knowing whether to say thanks or call an ambulance to haul this man to the psych ward, especially since he just stands there posing like a hero while bleeding out for a solid 30 seconds. Meet Fumihiko Takaba currently sitting on a big fat 0 points. He brags that he can tell who's good or evil just by looking at them, but then he pauses when he looks at Megumi. Noticing his face has some serious villain energy. Iori Hazunoki is genuinely confused, asking what kind of species this underwear warrior belongs to. Takaba thinks they're asking if his comedy routine is funny. Before anyone can ask what era he time traveled from, he proudly flexes that his outfit was inspired by a legendary comedian who makes him cry laugh every time he watches. He makes a SUS move that has the enemy sweating bullets, thinking he's about to pull out a bazooka or a nuke. Instead, he drops a joke so dry and unfunny that the entire vibe just dies instantly. Everyone is just standing there with a stone-faced expression. Feeling the cringe, he turns around and insults the whole group, calling them the worst audience in history. Then, he launches a dropkick straight at Iori's face, but Iori is faster. He grabs him and slams him into a wall with the speed of a home run baseball. Seeing the opening while they're distracted, Megumi tries to flank the long-haired guy but gets spotted. Megumi immediately orders everyone to split up in 1v1. He calls up Kogen to check Hiromi Higuruma's info and breathes a sigh of relief. Yuji did it. His KPI for this mission is officially cleared. Megumi hits Reggie with a final offer: "If that guy in the undies leaves, I'll let this slide." But Reggie isn't having it, barking back about needing to recoup the points they lost when Megumi deleted Hari. Megumi turns to Takaba and gives him the green light. "Hey UNC, strip that bomber of his points before you send him packing." The old man accepts the mission but keeps his artist persona locked in, claiming he's all about the craft and won't do anything to make his audience stop smiling. Megumi is basically over the drama at this point. "Just catch the W, I don't care about the vibes." Hazunoki starts spamming explosive teeth and eyeballs, but Takaba just uses a paper fan to swat them away like he's clearing out flies. He lands a solid punch on Hazunoki before following up with the ultimate soul-crushing move, a double finger poke to the backdoor so hard the guy probably sought his ancestors. Before the bomber can even process the disrespect, he catches a roundhouse kick that sends him flying. Megumi takes a deep breath, thanking the heavens that Takaba isn't on the enemy team. The old man is absolutely living for the praise. "Oh, lem, I've been waiting to hear that forever." Reggie tries to talk trash, claiming Hazunoki is about to activate crash out mode and delete the clown. But Megumi pours ice cold water on that theory. "Worry about yourself, bud. My KPI for this area is cleared, and I don't need to farm points anymore. Now, I'm going full beast mode on you." New spawns in, raining down lightning bolts on the SUS Reggie. The ground gives way, forcing Reggie to take to the air to avoid getting buried. Reggie pulls out a bunch of receipts stuck to his body, eating them to transform into fallen streetlights to block the path, but Megumi isn't done. He summons his jumbo elephant to give chase. The elephant blasts a water jet like a literal tsunami, but somehow Reggie pulls a surfboard out of thin air to ride the wave and escape. It turns out this guy's receipts can manifest into whatever is written on them. He spawns a bunch of teddy bears to cushion his landing. Then staples some supermarket receipts together to form a staircase for a quick getaway. He uses the blast force to launch himself between two buildings, sliding down the walls like a total madman. Megumi tracks him to an alley, only to find the entire area carpeted in Reggie's receipts. Suddenly, a literal piano falls from the sky, trying to pancake Megumi. Our boy quickly summons a swarm of rabbits to act as a meat shield and carry him to the roof. Megumi claps back by dropping a massive shipping container that smashes through the church roof. At this point, he's finally cracked the code. Reggie can turn anything printed on those receipts into the real deal. But hold up, that's not even the wildest part. Reggie pulls out a receipt from a 5-star hotel he once crashed at, and suddenly, he's getting the full VIP treatment, oil massages, a 3-day feast, and total relaxation. His body literally resets to 100% battery, looking as fresh as if he just stepped out of a hot spring. Meanwhile, Megumi is looking absolutely wrecked after back-to-back brawls and burning through his mana by spamming too many Shikigami. Reggie, being a certified hater, comments the Sasuke wannabe kid usually plays with multiple pets. But his biggest L was summoning that jumbo elephant, a move he usually only pulls solo. Plus, he can't call on Divine Dog because that pup took a massive beating in the last round. Sensing the vibes are off, Megumi decides that ghosting is the best strategy and hops on Nu to make an exit. Obviously, Reggie isn't about to let him slide. He spawns a motorcycle and gives chase. This man even pulls out an iPhone 17 to hack the local flycams just to track Megumi's location. The chase leads them straight into a massive gymnasium, exactly the kind of map Megumi was thirsting for. But the blonde antagonist is already one step ahead, yeeting 2 literal trucks to smash through the walls. Megumi dodges by a hair, only to face a rain of flower pots falling toward his head while Reggie moves in to finish him off. Megumi manages to block, but bad RNG strikes again. He steps on some receipts that transform into beach volleyballs, launching him into the air. Suddenly, a mountain of scrap metal falls on him, pinning him against the wall like a flattened snack. Hidden among the flower pots was a dagger that stabs straight through Megumi's hand. He is officially getting ratioed by Reggie's ability to control objects like they're his own Shikigami. Reggie casually drops an offer, cough up those points and I'll make sure you log out peacefully. But Megumi has officially entered serious mode. I'm turning this entire gym into my own playground. Everything is swallowed by darkness as Megumi finally lets loose his domain expansion Chimera Shadow Garden. Reggie starts shaking, caught in a total. It was at this moment he knew, vibe, is this kid really this cracked? Now, he's about to get a VIP tour of a literal living nightmare. The domain is open, and Reggie just got a front row ticket to his own funeral. Can Megumi officially delete this SUS character for good? Smash that like and subscribe to catch the high voltage finale in the next episode, fam. Megumi officially drops his domain expansion, turning the entire gym into a void as dark as a blackout. Reggie isn't just standing there, though he tries to counter ratio Megumi with a secret anti-domain technique called Hollow Basket Wicker, designed to nerf the sure hit effects of a domain. But life comes at you fast. Megumi's massive frog Shikigami straight up licks the soul out of him, completely shooting down his defense. That move only works on final boss tier domains like the ones Jogo or Hanami flexed back in Shibuya. Since Megumi's domain is still in loading mode and not fully patched, the long-haired antagonist is left wide open to catch some serious hands. Megumi rains down punch after punch, not missing the chance to talk some trash word that main character confidence go, bud. Feeling the heat, this rat tier villain spits out a cocoon and starts squirming like a fish out of water just to break free. He gets lucky and dodges the frogs and the bindings, but Megumi spawns a whole squad of shadow clones to jump Reggie into oblivion. This domain gives a 120% stat buff to the 10 shadows technique, basically using overwhelming numbers to crush whatever quality the opponent has left. Reggie starts spiraling, unable to believe this glitched power level. He tells himself if this kid summons the jumbo elephant again, he's getting pancaked and handed a one-way ticket to the afterlife. Megumi kicks him around like a soccer ball, but before Nu can land the finisher, Reggie spawns 3 literal BMWs to act as a meat shield. And that's when he thinks he's found the exploit. The foundation of this domain is entirely Megumi's shadow, meaning Megumi himself has to physically tank the weight of everything inside it. Those 3 cars alone put a 2-ton weight on Megumi's shoulders. Reggie thinks all he has to do is spam more heavy items and the kid will get crushed by his own shadow. But Megumi just looks at him like, are you high? Even if it's unfinished, it's still a domain, and his shadow is everywhere including right above Reggie's dome. He summons Max Elephant and drops it directly onto Reggie, pinning him down like a bug. He asks Reggie who's gonna get flattened first before the blood rush to their legs fries their brain. Megumi lowers his center of gravity, channeling cursed energy to reinforce his body for the ultimate heavy lift. Meanwhile, a 3 to 6 ton African elephant is literally grinding Reggie into the floor. His fibula and right heel are already shattered like crackers. He considers diving into Megumi's shadow to reconstruct a secret weapon, but that's high-key risky since he could get trapped there forever once he logs out. Even while being turned into a pancake, he tries to force a contract recreation technique. A sharp crack echoes through the air and Reggie completely vanishes. He ends up plunging straight into the abyss, cursing his slow reaction time. There's zero oxygen down there, and he's just sinking into eternal darkness, but big bro Megumi is also struggling, pushing his limits to the max. He can't deactivate the technique until Reggie is officially done for. Suddenly, a car blasts out from the shadows, dragging the long-haired antagonist along with it. He manages to escape, but his lungs are screaming for air after that near-death experience. He claims he ordered the cars to resurface just to pull him out of that black hole from hell. He admits Megumi is built different, but insists the kid still isn't on his level yet. Just like that, he reactivates his contract recreation technique, summoning a literal 30-ton house, screaming that he's about to turn Megumi into a pancake. But just when it looks like game over, Reggie's world goes dark again. For a second, he thinks he's fallen back into the shadow. Plot twist: they aren't in the shadow, they've both plunged into an underground swimming pool, and Megumi is dragging him down in a chokehold. The long-haired dude is completely trapped because Megumi isn't just a 130-pound kid anymore. He's currently carrying the combined weight of 36 tons from those 3 cars plus the entire house from earlier. Now, Reggie is the one getting crushed by his own summon loot. They finally break the surface in the gym's basement pool, and Reggie realizes he's been played. Megumi used his own shadow as a decoy to trick him into collapsing the floor and falling into the water. Megumi spawns in and starts the ultimate trash talk: those receipts are soaked, who are you gonna perform for now? But in reality, Megumi is running on empty and can't summon any more Shikigami. If he slips up for even a second, this SUS antagonist will counterattack and end the match. The two of them stagger toward each other in the middle of the pool like an action movie climax, finally resorting to raw physical interaction to decide the winner. Reggie goes down but bounces back like a flea to keep the fight going. But right then, the jumbo-sized black wolf spawns out of nowhere and rips into his shoulder. Megumi coldly drops the truth: my divine dog isn't weak enough to go ghost just from your mid-tier attacks. Reggie's star is officially folded, bitterly muttering, sorcerers are all just a bunch of frauds. He realizes the kid played him for a fool, faking his exhaustion and baiting him into the gym just to secure the kill. Megumi then grills him about his connection to Master Tengen, suspecting the old man might be capping about this death game and low-key teaming up with Kenjaku. Before officially logging out of the server, Reggie orders his spirit familiar to transfer all his points to Megumi. Our boy is stunned when he checks his balance and sees a 41-point parting gift. The blonde antagonist clarifies he's not exactly besties with Kenjaku, but he's doing this just to keep the plot interesting. He leaves Megumi with a cursed blessing to keep pushing forward only to die like a clown trying to stop Kenjaku's master plan. Megumi departs the scene, pocketing an extra 5 points for sending Reggie to the afterlife. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, the comedy king Takaba and the bomber Hazanoki are still trying to send each other to the gulag. But Takaba, being the ultimate unbothered king, casually stops for a coffee break while the building behind him gets nuked into oblivion. Hazanoki actually thinks he's secured the W, but then Takaba spawns right next to him. He tells Hazanoki not to give up just because his opponent is a literal tank. Turns out, Takaba's body is currently coated in oil, so those explosions haven't even scratched his skin. Hazanoki is more confused than a bald man looking for lice. He can't wrap his head around how this dude is still vibing after a direct hit. When the spirit familiar announces that Registar has officially logged out, Hazanoki gets salty, rage quits the fight, and walks away. Takaba is totally chill with it, even shouting a reminder for him to go home and take a shower. Here's the lore. Takaba's technique is called comedian. Anything he thinks is funny literally becomes reality. It's a broken game mechanic that would even make Gojo Satoru sweat. It's a bit like Bonnie's distorted future from One Piece. If he can imagine it, it happens. The craziest part, Takaba doesn't even realize his power level is through the roof. Meanwhile, Remy is sprinting through the area in a total panic, having no clue what's going on. She thought every guy was a simp who couldn't resist a baddie, but she ran straight into the lone wolf Megumi, who was ready to collect his debt with interest. Megumi was about to crash out on her, but he hears his sister's voice in his head telling him to stand down. A second later, he passes out from pure exhaustion. And just like that, the angel the squad has been thirsting to find finally makes her grand entrance. Switching scenes to the Sendai colony, and let me tell you, the vibes here are way more intense than Tokyo. We've got Dhruv Lakdawala sitting on 91 points. This is his second reincarnation. He's an OG legend who once conquered an entire island during a civil war, and he controls 2 cracked independent Shikigami. Then there's Ryu Ishigori with 77 points, rocking a cannon with the highest cursed energy output in the game. And don't forget the baddie Takako Yura with 70 points, a former assassin captain from the Fujiwara clan with a sky manipulation technique that's absolutely trippy. Finally, there's the disgusting Kurorushi with 54 points, a special grade curse that Kenjaku unleashed who's currently camping and waiting for the right moment. None of these heavy hitters are interested in a team up, but the first one already got deleted by Yuta Okkotsu, who started with 35 points. Yuta's skill level is officially out of this world. The only person you can even compare him to is Gojo. Yuta's entrance into Sendai has the entire map shaking. Can the War God solo this lineup of 70 to 90 point bosses? Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button to stay updated on the chaos. Bye bye. The episode kicks off with Yuta officially sending a pretty sketchy looking old man back to Mother Earth. This bearded guy goes by Dhruv, and Yuta just finished him off with zero hesitation. In this twisted death game, there are 4 players considered server admins because of their high-key danger levels, and old man Dhruv was one of the elites. After forcing him to log out, Yuta checks his bank account and realizes he's sitting on about 400 points. Talk about a newly minted mobile in the Jujutsu world. But while Yuta is casually saving innocent civilians trapped in the barrier, things suddenly take a turn for the worse. A massive swarm of giant insects spawns out of nowhere, trying to gank our boy from behind. Yuta reaches for his blade to swat them down, but he quickly clocks that these aren't just your everyday pests, they're being controlled by cursed energy. Bad luck strikes before Yuta can even react. The swarm manages to take a bite out of a poor bystander. Even with Yuta moving at peak speed, he couldn't save them in time. Absolutely heated, he unleashes a move that completely wipes out that black smoke of cursed bugs. Right on cue, the game's referee pops up, and Yuta doesn't waste any time. Hello, what was that thing I just crushed? The ref drops the lore that's Kurorushi, the final boss of the cockroach hive. Turns out, this is the second most dangerous player on the game's blacklist. It's a monster born from humanity's collective fear of roaches. Just hearing the description is enough to make the whole vibe go cold. This roach isn't just mid, either. It pulls out a blade ready to 1v1 Yuta, but our boy is cracked, with one basic swing. He slices one of its arms right off. But roach energy is built different, it's persistent as hell. It still has another arm to keep the combat going. As Yuta dodges, he realizes this is getting sweaty since fighting a pure cursed spirit is a total drain on his stamina. Mid-clash, the monster drops a totally no thoughts, head empty question, wait, why are you hitting me? Yuta is shook for a solid 5 seconds at the audacity, thinking, excuse me, I should be asking you that. You literally just ate someone and now you're acting all innocent. This Kurorushi roach claims it's obsessed with iron, and by iron, it means the iron in your blood. It's basically got the same vibe as a mosquito thirsty for a sip of juice in the middle of summer. After hearing that trash excuse, Yuta locks in. If that's how you want to play it, let's make this a ride or die situation. The monster summons a swarm of roaches so thick it covers the entire building, it looks absolutely cursed. Yuta has to go beast mode, channeling cursed energy into his blade to clear the trash. Finally, he lands a heavy wood chopper strike, and the cursed energy explosion sends the entire hive to the gulag in a split second. Yuta thinks the match is wrapped up, but the final boss roach spawns right behind him, grabbing his throat to turn him into a snack. But Yuji's mentor isn't going out like that. He pulls a kiss of death move, biting the monster's face and pumping reverse curse technique straight into its system. Since cursed spirits are allergic to positive energy, the roach literally explodes on the spot. Yuta pockets an easy 5 points. Getting rich really is that easy. But the second the roach is deleted, a sky system sorcerer spawns in and yeets Yuta back several meters. Meet Yuro, the third-rate boss of the area. This lady has the power to manipulate the sky, warping space like she's kneading Play-Doh. Yuta, being the Mr. Congeniality he is, starts checking in on her. So, why the high kill count? Don't you have a partner or a squad? Being a solo war god has to get boring after a while. That question hits a nerve about her permanently single status and sends her into a total rage. Yuta doubles down with some deep philosophy. Living for others is the move, sis, living only for yourself is mid-tier energy. Absolutely triggered, she snatch grabs our boy and yeets him across the horizon. Mid-flight, a literal laser beam spawns out of nowhere and splits them up. Welcome the fourth-rate boss to the chat, Ryu. He's the heavy hitter of the region, rocking a pompadour that's actually a biological cannon for firing high-output lasers. While Yuta is dodging for his life, he asks why everyone is jumping him, and Ryu starts trauma dumping. I've had everything in life, never lost a fight, but I'm missing dessert. Turns out, this guy feels his life isn't sweet enough because he's never tasted the bitterness of an L. Yuta locks in. You want dessert? I'm about to serve you these hands for dinner. The two dive into a high-octane clash. Ryu is fast and strong as hell, spamming head cannon lasers that have Yuta's back against the wall. Just as Yuta grabs him by the throat to flip the script, a point-blank laser blast sends him flying. Finally, Yuta snatches up a metal beam, reinforcing it with cursed energy to tank a massive incoming blast. Ryu's hair cannon is no joke. It levels an entire tunnel in a scene that looks straight up apocalyptic. He even tries to trap Yuta in the rubble to finish him off with more artillery fire, blowing the whole sector to bits. Ryu thinks Yuta is officially cooked, but our boy is a certified tank. He stealth camps behind a train car and pulls a surprise counter ratio, catching Ryu completely off guard. Instead of being mad, Ryu is actually loving it, muttering, Yuta is the top-tier dessert I've been waiting for. This man is literally enjoying the flavor of his impending defeat. But while they're bonding through physical violence, Yuro spawns back in to steal the kill, using her sky-warping magic to jump Yuta from above. Ryu is completely tilted, yelling at her woman, who invited you to interrupt a men's 1v1. Yuro doesn't give a damn, pulling a no-you move by warping space to redirect Ryu's own laser right back at him. Seeing Yuta take a massive hit and bounce back like it was nothing, even she has to admit this kid's durability is insane. He's taking zero damage. Yuta realizes that letting these two jump him is a bad strategy. He needs to lure them away from the civilians and stop holding back. Our boy finally pulls out his engagement ring, slips it on, and screams, Rika, help your man. Immediately, the Queen of Curses Rika spawns in with her most demonic look yet. Rika is Yuta's OG soulmate. Even though she logged out ages ago, her spirit still protects him through that ring. Yuta has a strict 5-minute window to go God mode, tapping into Rika's massive cursed energy reserves before she ghosts the scene. The second the clock starts, Yuta drops a cursed speech command, don't move. Just like that, Yuro is frozen in place, completely unable to move a muscle. On one side, Yuta is dropping high-voltage moves to suppress Yuro, while simultaneously pulling up to vibe check Ryu. While Rika is out here crashing out on Yuro to protect her man, Ryu tries to intervene by launching a head cannon laser at the lady. But with her sky-warping magic, she phases through everything, dodging both Ryu and Rika in a split second. Absolutely tilted from being jumped, she literally drags the heavens down to earth, wrecking the entire sector. The trio realizes that playing cat and mouse isn't it, so they all sync up and drop the ultimate trump card triple domain expansion. Just as the blackout barriers swallow the three of them, some no thoughts, head empty chaos happens. The Kurorushi roach suddenly respawns and glitches its way inside. Since it's a cursed spirit, it doesn't log out that easily. The intrusion of a fourth player causes the triple barrier to overload and shatter instantly. Entering the fray, the roach borrows Yuro's arm permanently, and Rika, seeing the loot drop, straight up devours the arm without a second thought. Yuta seizes the opening to send the roach to the gulag for the second time, effectively deleting Yuro from the match. Now, the stage is set for a 1v1 between Yuta and Ryu. The two clash, trading maximum cursed energy blasts and lasers in a scene that's pure action movie fire. Yuta puts his cards on the table, using Yuro's own sky warping technique to counter ratio Ryu. At this point, the antagonist is shook, realizing Yuta is running a cracked copy build. He can download an opponent's move set at 5G speeds. Yuta coordinates with Rika to hit Ryu with a combo that leaves him breathless. But right as he's about to seal the deal, he hits a low battery warning. The 5-minute window for Rika's power-up is officially over. The queen ghosts the scene, and Yuta loses his massive cursed energy buff. Ryu takes the opportunity to rush in and throw hands, trying to regain some aura. The two of them enter a raw slugfest, punching each other until their faces are swollen. Just as Ryu is getting hyped to land a finisher, a literal artillery strike drops from the sky and hits him right in the dome. Turns out, that was Ryu's own laser from earlier. Yuta had used sky warping to yeet it into the atmosphere and timed the shipping back to the original owner perfectly. Taking a direct hit from his own signature move, Ryu is pinned to the floor, but he looks surprisingly satisfied. He claims he finally got to taste his dessert, the flavor of failure he'd been thirsting for all this time. Even though he didn't log out permanently, he accepts the L with respect, transferring a massive 190 points to Yuta's account. The episode ends with Yuta's balance hitting 6 figures, officially making him the whale of the Sendai colony. Yuta's 190-point cash out has the entire community shook. Do you think Rika's main character's girl energy is enough to solo the whole server? With this massive point haul, what's Yuta's next move to break the seal on Gojo Sensei? Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button so you don't miss the upcoming anime drops. Peace out, fam.